Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna. Maybe if it's done a little bit. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shatashisha Madhusvanga Sesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtottara Shatashisha Madhusvanga Sesi Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Grantaraj srimadbhagavatam Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. You think you can pass me that bead bag, please? So, how's it looking, Jamal? Thanks. Alright, we'll wait for Jamal to bring the sign. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 SrimadBhagavatam, Canto 4, entitled Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 9, Dhruva Maharaj Returns Home, Text 5. 6. Sorry. Yanta pravishya Dhruva vacha Yanta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat yakila shakti darasvadhamna Anyangsha hasta charana shravana tvag adin Pranan namo bhagavate purushasya tubhyam Dhruva vacha Yanta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat yakila shakti darasvadhamna Nyangsha hasta charana shravana tvag adin Pranan namo bhagavate purushasya tubhyam Shaya Dhruva vacha Yanta pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat yakila shakti darasadhamna Anyangsha hasta charana shravana tvag adin Pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Dhruva vacha Yontak pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat Daraksvadhamna Anyangsha hasta charana shravanatvagatin Pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Dhruva vacha Yontak pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat yakila shakti daraksvadhamna Anyangsha hasta charana shravanatvagatin Prananamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Dhruva vacha Yontak pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat yakila shakti daraksvadhamna Anyangsha hasta charana shravanatvagatin Prananamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Dhruva vacha Yontak pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam Sanjivayat yakila shakti daraksvadhamna Anyangsha hasta charana shravanatvagatin Prananamo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam Word by word translation. Dhruva vacha Dhruva Maharaj said, Yaha, the Supreme Lord who, Antaha, within, Pravishya, entering, Mama, my, vacham,
vacham,
words,
words,
imam,
imam,
all these,
all these,
prasuptam,
prasuptam,
which are all inactive or dead,
or
sanjivati, vyati, rejuvenates, akila, universal, shakti,
shakti,
energy,
energy,
daraha,
taraha,
possessing,
possessing,
swadhamna,
swadhamna,
by his internal potency,
by his internal potency,
anyancha,
anyancha,
other limbs also,
by the limbs also,
hasta,
hasta,
like hands,
like hand,
chadana,
chadana,
legs,
legs,
shavana,
ravana,
ears,
ears,
twak,
twak,
skin,
skin,
adin,
adin,
and so on.
and so on.
Pranan,
Prana,
life force.
life force.
Namaha,
Namaha,
let me offer my
let
obeisances.
me offer my obeisance.
Bhagavate,
Bhagavate,
unto the Supreme Personality of God.
unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Purushaya,
Purushaya,
the Supreme Person.
Supreme Person.
Tubhyam,
Tubhyam,
unto you.
unto you.
Translation. Dhruva Maharaj said, my dear Lord, you are all-powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, touch sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. Dhruva Maharaj could understand very easily the difference between his condition before and after attaining spiritual realization and seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He could understand that his life force and activities had been sleeping. Unless one comes to the spiritual platform, his bodily limbs, mind, and other faculties within the body are understood to be sleeping. Unless one is spiritually situated, all his activities are taken as a dead man's activities or ghostly activities. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has composed a song in which he addresses himself. O living entity, get up! How long shall you sleep on the lap of Maya? Now you have the opportunity of possessing a human form of body. Now try to get up and realize yourself. The Vedas also declare, get up, you have the opportunity, the boon of the human form of life. Now realize yourself. These are the Vedic injunctions. Dhruva Maharaj actually experienced that upon enlightenment of his senses on the spiritual platform, he could understand the essence of Vedic instruction, that the Supreme Godhead is the Supreme Person, he is not impersonal. Dhruva Maharaj could immediately understand this fact. He was aware that for a very long time he was practically sleeping, and he felt the impetus to glorify the Lord according to the Vedic conclusion. A mundane person cannot offer any prayer or glorify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because he has no realization of the Vedic conclusion. When Dhruva Maharaj therefore found this difference within himself, he could immediately understand that it was because of the causeless mercy of the Lord. He offered obeisances to the Lord with great respect and reverence, completely understanding that the Lord's favor was upon him. This spiritual enlivenment of Dhruva Maharaj's senses and mind was due to the action of the internal potency of the Lord. In this verse, therefore, the word swadhamna means by spiritual energy. Spiritual enlightenment is possible by the mercy of the spiritual energy of the Lord. The chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is first addressed to the spiritual energy of the Lord, Hare. This spiritual energy acts when a living entity fully surrenders and accepts his position as an eternal servitor. When a person places himself at the disposal or order of the Supreme Lord, that is called sevanmukha. At that time, the spiritual energy gradually reveals the Lord to him. Without revelation by the spiritual energy, one is unable to offer prayers glorifying the Lord. Any amount of philosophical speculation, poetic expression by mundane persons is still considered to be the action and reaction of the material energy. When one is actually enlivened by the spiritual energy, all his senses become purified, and he engages only in the service of the Lord. At that time, for his hands, legs, ears, tongue, mind, genitals, everything engage in the service. That makes sense. At that time, his hands, legs, ears, tongue, mind, genitals, everything engage in the service of the Lord. Seems like it should be engaged in the service of the Lord. Such an enlightened devotee no longer has any material activities, nor has he any interest in being materially engaged. This process of purifying the senses and engaging them in the service of the Lord is known as bhakti, or devotional service. In the beginning, the senses are engaged by the direction of the spiritual master and shastra, and after realization, when the same senses are purified, the engagement continues. The difference is that in the beginning, the senses are engaged in a mechanical way, but after realization, they are engaged in spiritual understanding. Jamal, do you think you could get a songbook, please, for me? Om Gyanatabirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshalanamilita Mena Tasma Shri Gurave Namaha Kam Karitavachalam Pangam Langate Gadim Yakripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurun Diditadanam Pancha Kaptrivishcha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'll read the translation again. There's that song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur Srila Prabhupada's quoting. Oh, I think I found. There's part 2. There's 2 parts. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chandra Bale. Kota Nidra Jamaya Pishachira Kore Haripa Baliyesha Samsara Gitare Baliyara Hile Tomiya Vitabare. So I read the translation again. Maharaj said, My dear Lord, you are all powerful. After entering within me, you have enlivened all my sleeping senses, my hands, legs, ears, touch, sensation, life force, and especially my power of speech. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. So, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur would say that one who has life, they could preach. Dead men can't preach. Dead men can't do much, right? They're dead. But if you look at it, like he was saying, in terms of spiritual enlivenment, then one who's spiritually enlivened, they have no inclination to preach, because they're just unenthusiastic about it, because they themselves aren't getting the results of the practice. In other words, they're not feeling enlivened because they're not practicing properly, and therefore they cannot preach. So you could say that is one of the challenges. That is one of the challenges that spiritual leaders, spiritual people, churches, temples, mosques, that is the challenge that they have, that how to be inspired, because if the leaders aren't inspired, then how is anybody else supposed to be inspired? If the leaders aren't enthusiastic to preach, if they're dead, then how is anybody else going to be enlivened? So that's the challenge. And as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, right, Yada Dakita Krishna Badesh Margo, Guru Tari Desh, that wherever you go, whoever you meet, you tell them about Krishna, become a guru, and liberate the land. So he's saying everybody become guru. So that means everybody has to be spiritually enlivened, everybody has to preach, everybody has to not be dead, a dead man or woman. My mother, she was up in Oregon now, and she wanted to visit a church. It was Easter or something, she wanted to visit a church. So she did that, she visited the local church. And she attended the sermon. And she told me later, she said, "Oh, I was completely not inspired." Said the guy was just lacking, he was lacking something, lacking some Shakti, and the message it was very vague, and that's what she was saying. So she wasn't inspired. And to become a preacher, which means alive and well and all that, it's not exactly the most easy thing, because the world is designed in such a way that it doesn't make it easy in our conditioning. But within religions there are spiritually inspired people who attract thousands and maybe even millions of people by their being so enlivened. And like this fellow, he's a Christian guy, his name is, I'm forgetting his name, not Billy Graham, he went back to Godhead or wherever he went. Anyways, I forgot his name. Oh, Charles Stanley. So the fellow has a TV show I think it's every day, if not every few days, or if not every week, where he gets on television and he preaches. And he's got a big audience there, and there's probably thousands or so many people watching throughout America. And every year he takes thousands of people out on this boat, this cruise. It's actually a good idea. It's this huge cruise where thousands of people get on the cruise, and they go to like Alaska, and he preaches. There's a big hall in the auditorium in the cruise ship where he preaches to them every morning, and whatever, there's seminars, this and that, and of course they go out in the nature and stuff. But he's got a big following, and he's getting up there, but in age. And there's so many people like that. Now, of course, and it's not that they're just dummies, they don't have anything to say. They do have something to say. So whether it's in that tradition or in the Hare Krishna movement, did this thing go dead? Hare Krishna. It's working? Okay. Whether it's in this... okay, I think it went dead, but now it's working. So within this, whether it's in this tradition or that tradition of the Hare Krishna movement, such people are very much needed, especially nowadays in the world where people are so faithless. So therefore, the idea is that we have to come to the point, just as Dhruva Maharaj did, of engaging in the process and then surrendering to the process, and then Krishna appearing to us in one form or another, and then becoming spiritually enlivened. So we have to surrender to the process, see Krishna in some form or other, and become spiritually enlivened. So that's the whole process of devotional service, that we engage in the process of devotional service, and a lot of the aspects of devotional service is us, you could say, placing our senses, placing our mind, placing our intelligence in the association of Krishna. Just like, you go on the altar and you're placing yourself, or at least aspect of yourself, or you could say the material self, your senses in contact with Krishna, with the deity, with dressing Krishna, with offering food to Krishna, incense and so on. And in this way, the mind is more or less forced, if it's not spontaneously attracted, to think of Krishna. With the holy name, you put you chant, use your tongue and your ears and you chant, and your mind is more or less forced to meditate on Krishna, at least for some of the time. Where's Janardhan? Where's our tech guy? Oh, I was just saying, where's our tech guy? Because this thing keeps on going in and out. So, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Well, I don't know what to do. Oh, really? Yeah, so maybe it's a sign I shouldn't be giving class, huh? I think that's what it is. It's a sign I shouldn't be giving class. Somebody else should be giving class. So we're placing our mind, our senses in contact with Krishna from the deity and from the holy name. We read Bhagavatam, we listen to Bhagavatam class. We're associating with devotees, whether it's Tulsi Maharani or other devotees. So this way our mind is being, what is the word? Our mind is being subjected or placed in the association of spiritual topics, Krishna consciousness, Krishna. And just as Dhruva Maharaj, he's saying that I was sleeping, my senses were sleeping, I was like a dead man. But by your association, now I'm full of life, especially my power of speech. So similarly, when we come in contact with Krishna, the devotees of Krishna, yes, we are like dead men. And to the degree that we surrender or not surrender, we will remain like that, dead men or women. Means not spiritually enlivened. And therefore we have to constantly try to put ourselves in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead so we can become enlivened, so our senses can become enlivened spiritually. And so especially our power of speech. Why? Because preaching means speaking. We have to speak to people. Even when someone's out on books, because some say, oh, book distribution, that's, Prabhupada would say, it's the most important preaching activity. It's true. But that also requires speaking, at least to some degree. You have to say, oh, hello, here's a book, please take a book, please give a donation. So you're preaching to them to take a book. And then Prabhupada does the preaching in the book. So whether you're out there on books or at the lounge or at Sunday feast or whatever, going around the world or going around SanDiego or going around anywhere, giving talks or whatever it is, it has some communication has to be there. And to the degree that we surrender to Prabhupada, to our spiritual master, to Krishna, to the process of devotional service, then our speech will become enlivened. It will become meaningful or powerful, or it will take on a different, you could say, it will take on a different power, because everybody has power in their speech to some degree. So that's the idea. And ourselves to become somehow or other encouraged to get out of this. That's when the spiritual, all those activities are taken as a dead man's activities. So I mean, to think about our lives as a dead man's activities. In other words, they're just like, they're useless or ghostly activities. Ghostly activities. And to the degree someone associates with the modes of nature, the lower modes of nature, rajas, tamas, one will be influenced by ghostly type of existence. So that's the challenge, to disassociate with the modes of passion, the modes of ignorance, which are surrounding everything, surrounding this whole world. And the modes, everything we could categorize into the modes. Our clothes, the way we eat, the way we sleep, the way we talk, the way we walk, everything could be categorized into the modes. So if we find something that we are doing that is of the nature of the lower modes of material existence, we better detect that and then try to stop it. Because the modes, if we don't detect it and stop it, then that's one thing we do. Our clothes are kind of modey, right? And then the way we eat, the way we do that, and then it all adds up, and then we're just in the lower modes. So we have to try to detect and then uproot. So, and people don't know how to do this. People do not know how to do this. What to speak of materialistic people, they have no idea. They don't even know about the modes. What to speak of how to detect it and how to uproot it. So therefore they are completely bound up by the modes of nature, just like it's guna, rope. Guna means rope. So they're like rope, bound up by ropes. And they're not nice ropes. They're bound up by ropes and getting beaten over and over again by a bad master. So they don't know. And even devotees, you hear that thunder? It's raining outside. So even devotees who know about the modes, we read about the 3 modes of nature, and we practice Krishna consciousness for so many years, and even they have a hard time getting free from the modes. How they dress, how they walk, how they talk, very difficult to get out of the modes. And some of them, they just fall, little by little by little by little by little, they kind of fall in the modes, and then they just remain in the modes. And even after practicing sadhana bhakti for so many years, 5 years, 10 years, etc., and then they just kind of revert back to exactly where they started, more or less. In other words, they become a dead man. Or as Prabhupada said, again become a mouse. Punar mushrika bhava, right? Bhava, not bhava, bhava. So the idea is not to again become a mouse, but to, living entity, get up, right? Get up. So therefore we have to get up early in the morning. Mangal Arti. And if people can't do that, okay, fine. Then get up earlier than you usually do. Get up, get up. How long shall you sleep on the lap of Maya? So we're sleeping, or people are sleeping on the lap of Maya. So first we have to get up, right? Get up in the morning and engage in sadhana bhakti. Or else there's no question of getting out of Maya. There's no question. It is impossible. So, right, it says in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Dharatya mame viye prapadyante maya me tam dharantite daivihesha gunamayi mama maya dharatyam. What is it? Mama eviye prapadyante maya me tam dharantite. That these illusory energy is very difficult to overcome, but those who can surrender to me easily cross beyond it. So if we come to the point of surrendering to Krishna, we easily cross beyond it, right? But how easy is it to come to the point of surrendering to Krishna? That's a little difficult. But once we get to the point of surrender to Krishna, it's easy. But then we have to surrender to Krishna. And you have to stay surrendered and not take it back, right? Stay surrendered. Stay surrendered, and then the modes are gone. So we feel that sometimes, right? In a big kirtan or whatever, this, that. We don't feel, oh, the modes are just gone. They're like non-existent, right? But then, some time later, then they're not non-existent. Somehow they're fully manifested in different varieties. So, in some devotees, because you say that, surrender to Krishna. So so devotees have analyzed this. Okay, of course, everybody has a mind, everybody has intelligence. They analyze things in different ways, but it made sense. Some devotees, they brought up the point, surrender to Krishna, right? So we think, surrender to the person, which was true. Of course, we surrender to the person, not the impersonal Krishna, but they have analyzed this as the holy name of Krishna, right? Because the holy name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. So we surrender to Krishna in the form of the holy name, because that's the Nam avatar, right? He's the avatar, one of the, you could say, avatars for this age. We get out of Maya by engaging in sadhana bhakti. And the Vedas also declare, now you have the opportunity of possessing a human form of body. Now try to get up and realize yourself. Vedas also declare, get up, get up. You have the opportunity, the boon of the human form of life. Now realize yourself. So this is, Prabhupada said, as a song composed by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He addresses himself. So this is the song, part 2. Lord Gauranga is calling, wake up, sleeping souls. Wake up, sleeping souls. You have slept so long in the lap of the witch Maya. You came into this world of birth and death, saying, my Lord, I will certainly worship you, but you have forgotten this promise and remained in great ignorance. They're saying that the baby, right, the pious baby in the womb. Yeah. He's praying, I'll worship you, but then he forgot. I have descended just to save you, saying Lord Chaitanya, except for me, who is your friend. I brought the medicine to eradicate the disease of illusion. Now pray for this Harinam Maha Mantra and take it. Bhaktivinoda Thakur fell at the lotus feet of Lord Gauranga, and after begging for the holy name, he received that Maha Mantra. So the process is very simple, it's very clear, it's very straightforward, it is not complicated, it is not crooked, very straightforward. The holy name is there, we need to surrender to it, and the process of devotional service is there, we need to surrender to it. And by doing that, gradually engages in our senses, keeping them in the service of Krishna, we will be enlivened and no longer dead, but enlivened, all of our senses, and they'll be purified. And we will, instead of in a mechanical way engaging in Krishna consciousness, we will be spontaneously attracted to Krishna, which is the whole point, is to get to that spontaneous attraction, like Dhruva Maharaj, that spontaneous attraction. So does anyone have any questions or comments?
I never know what's going to happen. Haribol. Maybe we should just paste this on there. This seems to work better. That the program that we have, the deity worship, is meant to actually duplicate or replicate this kind of experience, where we actually see the Lord. So we're not completely benighted and it's just a statue, that's another thing, but if you have some understanding that this is actually Krishna, it's you. You see, he's moving his device.
Yeah. You gotta turn your device off, Zach.
Hare Krishna.
It's all Zach's fault.
You see the Lord, there's Radha Giridhari, and they're dressed so beautifully, and they're smiling, and that's meant to be an enlivenment, accompanied by the kirtan, and so that we experience something about like what Dhruva is experiencing. Is that it enlivens you for your whole service? Then the curtain closes, and you go about your business, but the impression remains, and then you're supposed to renew it at night with another kirtan. It's a similar. The whole program is, the revelation, and live as the senses. You become inspired to practice more, and so that you're deep in your remembrance. So eventually, remembrance becomes constant, and then you're transcendental part. But darshan program it's meant to be like what Peter experienced. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Haribol?
that's a great thought, way to think about it. Yeah, we see, just like Dhruva Maharaj got darshan of Narayan, Vishnu. So we also have the opportunity to take darshan, and Krishna's also seeing us, right? We're reporting for duty. We are making ourselves present before Krishna, so he's glancing at us, right? That's the idea. I think he had a question. You want to pass that mic, Zach? Or somebody? It's that guy over there.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. I think you did turn it on. Hare Krishna, is it working? Should we wait? Alright. I can try to project. Hare Krishna.
I'll repeat the question. All right, the class is over. Hare Krishna.